On September 16, 1890, a man boarded a train in Dijon, France, and simply ceased to exist. His brother watched him step into the carriage, the heavy iron doors latched shut, and the express engine roared toward Paris, with no scheduled stops in between. When that train pulled into the station a few hours later, the man was gone. He wasn't in his seat, he wasn't in the corridor, and his luggage, containing world-changing secrets, had vanished along with him. Every passenger on that train later swore they never saw him, despite the fact that he stood 6'4" and possessed a face no one could easily forget. He didn't just disappear. It was as if he had been surgically removed from the timeline. Here is the part that should keep you up at night. This man was 3 weeks away from an event that would have made him more famous than Thomas Edison. Instead of becoming the father of the modern world, he became a ghost whose name has been scrubbed from the history books. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this wasn't just a missing person case. It was the most successful vanishing act, or perhaps the most cold-blooded assassination in the history of science. To understand why he vanished, you have to understand what he was carrying in those missing trunks. His name was Louis Le Prince, a French-born inventor who, by the late 1880s, was living in a workshop in Leeds, England, obsessed with a single, impossible goal. He was in a high-stakes global race to capture life itself, to build a machine that could record motion and play it back for a crowd. And in October 1888, while Thomas Edison was still struggling with his own prototypes, Le Prince did the impossible. Using a single-lens camera of his own design, he filmed his family walking in a garden. This tiny, flickering clip is the oldest surviving motion picture in human history. It predates Edison and the Lumière brothers by years. By 1890, Le Prince had the camera, he had the film, and he had a plan to change the world forever. He had already sent his family to New York to prepare for a public demonstration that would have secured his place as the undisputed king of cinema. He never made it to the boat, and the timing of his disappearance is so perfect, so surgical, that it feels less like bad luck and more like a hit. Let's reconstruct the final hours, because the physics of this mystery simply do not add up. In early September, Le Prince visited his brother Albert in Dijon for a final goodbye before his big American debut. On the morning of the 16th, Albert saw Louis onto the Paris Express, carrying his camera and the precious patent documents that proved he was first. The train was an express. It did not stop, it did not slow down, and there were no intermediate stations. When the train screeched to a halt in Paris, Le Prince's friends were standing right there on the platform, eyes peeled for the 6'4" inventor. They watched every passenger step off, but the man they were waiting for never appeared. When they searched his assigned carriage, they found nothing. No Louis, no luggage, no signs of a struggle, and not a single drop of blood. It was as if he had stepped into a portal somewhere between Dijon and Paris and just walked out of our dimension. This wasn't just a local police matter. Scotland Yard and the French Sûreté both threw everything they had at the case. They interviewed every single passenger on that train, looking for anyone who saw the giant man with the mutton-chopped sideburns. The result was chilling. Not one person remembered seeing him, even though he had been seen boarding just hours earlier. The luggage is the real kicker. How do you dispose of multiple heavy trunks on a moving train without anyone noticing? Investigators checked every morgue, dragged the river, and walked every inch of the tracks between the two cities. There was no body, no discarded clothing, and not a single pawn shop in Europe ever saw his equipment. So how does a man disappear from a locked box moving at 50 miles per hour? Theory 1 is the most grounded. he arrived in Paris late, took a wrong turn in the dark, and was killed for his belongings. A photo was found in 2003 of an unidentified man pulled from the Seine in 1890 who looks hauntingly like Le Prince. But the identification was never confirmed. Theory 2 is the family secret. Some believe his brother Albert murdered him over an inheritance and lied about him ever boarding the train. It's a theory that explains why no one on the train saw him, but Albert's own grief and lifelong search for Louis make it hard to swallow. Theory 3 suggests Le Prince staged his own disappearance to escape mounting debts and start over in America. But why would a man walk away from the very invention that was about to make him one of the wealthiest men on the planet? That leads us to the most controversial theory of all, Theory 4, that he was silenced by his rivals. The patent wars of the 1890s were brutal, and Edison was known to be a ruthless businessman who didn't take kindly to competition. While there's no smoking gun, the timing remains the ultimate piece of circumstantial evidence. Le Prince vanishes, and Edison becomes the inventor of movies. While the world was celebrating the Lumière brothers and Edison, Le Prince's widow spent the rest of her life in a desperate, failing legal battle. She was convinced her husband had been murdered to protect the profits of the growing film industry. Today, we know the truth. Louis Le Prince really did do it first, and his grainy 130-year-old footage is the only proof he ever existed. He caught the world in motion, but the world moved on without him. 130 years later, we are left with a locked train car and a man who unhappened. Do you think he was a victim of a random crime? Or was he the first casualty of the Hollywood machine? Drop your theory in the comments. I'll be down there responding to the most interesting ones. If you love mysteries that challenge reality, hit that subscribe button, because next time we're diving into the mystery of a ship found floating in the Atlantic with the tables set for dinner, but not a single soul on board.